Pause and copy, pause and copy, pause and copy. Bup, 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 bup. Okay, so there is a useful box in your textbook that summarizes how to deal with this guy. Well, mostly. This is an M here. It looks kind of small on my screen. So if M is odd, it tells you what to do. If N is odd, it tells you what to do. If they're both even, then you have some trouble. You have to use some trig identities, blah, blah, blah. Okay, next example. Items like this can be resolved according to a pattern as well. In this case, we're going to take tan as our U, and we'll see why in a second. It has to do with trig identities. So I do my substitution and I simplify to arrive here. Now, I got an even power of secant. That is why I am a happy camper right now. An even power of secant tells me that this factor involving x can be turned into something involving u, because secant can be related. Secant squared can be related to tan squared via a fancy little trig identity here. So I deal with my issue of mixed variables, and the rest is straightforward. Expand, blah, 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 blah. No problemo. Now, why did I not do secant x? Why did I not do u is equal to secant x? So pause and copy and ponder these two exercises. Now, if I were to do secant x, what would happen? I believe I would end up with an odd power of tan, right? I would end up with like, I think I'd have like a tan 5x, and then something involving u, which is awful because the odd power just can't be nicely converted into something involving u. Okay, scrolling back down. Okay, there's another box. So on page 496, there is a box that helps you with items of this form. So you should have a look at that. So these boxes I'm referring to are things you can memorize if you choose to help you deal with certain forms. Speaking of memorization, I'll repeat that we have been using lots of trig identities, and I will make clear to you, if I haven't done so already, exactly what things you should memorize. So likely a PDF will be made available to you. Okay, cos squared tan cubed. What shall I do here? Well, at one point in my life, I would just always convert everything to sine and tan. Everything to sine and cos. I thought, oh, sine and cos, those are very familiar. Let's just always convert to sine and cos. I think this is not, I think that always works. There's always a way to make that work, but it's not always the best way. So what I'm going to do here is switch to tan and secant. Okay, where I've said to myself, cosine of x is 1 over secant of x. Okay, to obtain this guy here. And then I will do something. U is equal to secant. What possessed me to make this choice? I can't remember. Let's see. If I do U is equal to secant, so what I'm thinking is that I'm going to end up with du over secant x tan x, right? That's going to appear once I do my substitution. This tan is going to cancel one of these, giving me an even power of tan, which puts a smile on my face, because even powers of tan can be converted. So pause copy. Bop, bop, bop. So as I said, tan squared, which using a trig identity can be turned into u squared minus 1. And here we are, a nice, simple, rational integral. I break it up into two pieces and sort things out. Pause copy. Exercise. I want you to try this one again. This time, do u is equal to cosine of x. So what I think you should maybe... So I'll be converting the tan into sine over cos. And just for fun, try to make this work. I believe it will work. I know it will work. Maybe more labor intensive. I think you'll end up with an... You see how I end up with a ln secant here? Because you're choosing cosine here, you're probably going to end up with a negative ln cosine of x. Okay, but what is that? You're going to end up with... well, you just need to notice that this is ln. This is secant x to the minus 1. Now you'll remember your old trusty log rule that says that this exponent can move down in front, right? So you'll be able to recover the ln secant of x that I see appearing here. Okay, to repeat, when you follow my hints here, your final answer will likely involve this, which may make you upset. Don't be upset. It is exactly what you want it to be.